By request, this is a much shortened version of the demonstration of how anyone of any age and education can prove whether these trails we see and are under contention are in fact water vapor, as the government says, or a chemical vapor. But before the technique can be shown, it is essential to understand the proof basis and method, why it is the proof. But again, that's extremely simple too. And no matter how complicated things have gotten, all the denials rest on one single point, the official United States government position, which is expressed here and was issued in response to myriad complaints and concerns of citizens about what these things are. You can examine this at your own leisure, but basically it says all water vapor coming out of a jet engine either gets absorbed by the air, the layer that it's in, or the layer is too high in humidity and can't absorb it, leaving the water vapor from the jet engine. So all of that rests on this picture. And this picture shows the actual controversy, what caused people to be concerned. But as they say here, if there weren't water vapor coming out of the jet, there would be no contrail. So what they say is that the lower trail, the fat one, was in a layer where it could not absorb any more water vapor. But the one right next to it, where you would say, oh my gosh, the other, it's not doing anything, so the first must be a chemical trail, is simply at a higher altitude in a layer where it can absorb the water vapor, and that's their official position. So close to the ground, you have water vapor rising, which can be localized, but once it gets 5 miles up, they become vast sheets that are laminar. So one layer can be very high humidity, but the next layer, a couple thousand feet up, is low humidity. All right, so based on their official position of NASA, NOAA, Air Force, the U.S. Weather Service, everybody, we have, this is a representation of what they're saying. You have a jet that trails and causes a huge persistent contrail made of completely of water vapor, they say. Then you have one that vanishes quickly, like they illustrated, but that's actually 2,000 feet higher in a non-supersaturated layer. And down here you have the same thing where it's actually even a lower humidity, so that there's no trail whatsoever. That is their official explanation. They have left something out. This is what they left out. They should have said, if they're both at the same altitude and the same time, then both will exhibit a persistent contrail. So this is what we have now. If we can find examples where both are at, say, 36,000 feet, and one trails mightily, and the other one emits nothing or next to nothing, they're both at 36,000 feet, and roughly, if not exactly the same time, then it's all over. It's not water vapor. They have to do it. Okay, now here's where it gets great, because this is the path, this is the way. You go to Planefinder, zoom in, it'll show you every jet that's in the air that's non-military, and then go to the area where you are. Look for jets that are overflying in a lane and begin to check their altitudes, 37,000 feet. If you saw one trailing, then you would come in and look for another one coming along the same line. That way you can monitor exactly what altitudes they are and who's trailing and who's not. Doesn't get any simpler than that, my friends. You know, thankfully, finally, after over 300 straight hours of overcast, it's clear. It's not going to be clear for long. Continuously overcast. There are no main deals at this moment in time. Definitely, that's real dissipation. All right, this is just great. See, dissipating. There was another one over there dissipating. What does this look like? It's dissipating. Yeah, there it is. All right. 357, 356. Woo! You know, God, look at this, amazing, man. It is. All right, finally, to both of them being shown. See there, France. Oh, 36,000 feet. He was remarkably clear. All right, now who's the next guy? 38,000 feet. This guy was 36,000 feet, dissipating at 38. All right, feet, right there. Vertical speed, 0 feet per minute. And where was he from? From Paris to Mexico City. All right, so 36,000 feet, absolutely, positively must trail. And the trail went the whole length of the sky, so you can forget of moist air. All right, so there's Air France. And right here comes this guy at 36,000 feet. Just came right outside. We look up. There he is. There he is. That's him right there. He's dissipating. Perfect. Same altitude. All right. It's not doing that, is it? All right. That's it. Done deal. From Zurich, approaching me at 40,000 is Edelweiss Air from Zurich to Tampa at 40,000, which is 349, 350. Nice. The Edelweiss one right there. Possible. Who's that? Ooh, 38,000 feet from New York to Charlotte. Let's go see if that guy's doing anything. Yep, he definitely did it. There it is. Yeah, it goes the whole way, too. Yeah. And the one left by Edelweiss, see, but then the cloud making stuff continues and just hangs there. So they both start. Well, oh, here's the jet right here. Let's go see. He's not doing anything. These both conveniently started right here, even though obviously the conditions are the same. And he's not. He's up there. Sorry about my handshake. It's just not as calm as I'd like it to be. Well, that's what happens when you reach 128 years old, you know. Who wasn't trailing. Aeromexico at 40,000 feet. All right, that's a perfect catch. He's not trailing. The other one was at 40,000 feet. From Zurich. 7,000 is definitely not trailing. But the 40,000 foot one, that's still there. And we just saw Aeromexico go right along at the exact same path within minutes of it and left nothing whatsoever. So that's, you can't get a better repudiation of the official government position that it's due to different altitudes. Some trail and others that appear near it don't. So much for that. So now anytime you see serious trailage, you will find this happens all the time. It also helps us explain certain things like why the trails are only 80 to 100 miles long, regardless of the size of a supersaturated region. It's because there's only a finite amount of material on board. Constant short length and a vast cirrus layer equals finite quantity and a standardized bin. Standardized components for standardized aircraft. And here we can explain the long trails could not expand if the air between the complete trails were so low it could absorb all of the water vapor in the cutoff trail. And that's exactly the same here. You see one extending a long way, and then there's one that just starts right there. Well, if the air were so moist as to allow it further on, that would never have happened. And again, it's no graduality, and that equals no nature. So anyone who's aware of this controversy knows there's a million opinions. All of the agencies that are involved do not comprise a God. They're comprised of people. People that have opinions, may be honest, may be dishonest. It makes no difference. 1 + 1 still equals 2, and it doesn't matter what we feel about it.